practice with a physical discipline, with a spiritual discipline in the physical world. You might have made a blood oath, myself, so you need to go over it in your head and remember, did y'all do anything that can, like, bind y'all permanently? Piercings, tattoos, y'all probably got in a fight with somebody together and both of y'all was bleeding and didn't even notice the exchange of blood when you was saying you was going to be ride or die forever after the fight and y'all showing out. There's so many ways you can make the blood oath and without knowing it. So you look at, and you can also exchange, in the exchange of body fluids, you can make an oath too. But those are not the same as a blood oath. That's normally to make something happen, to manifest with the sex energy and the sex fluids. Oral copulation while a woman is on her cycle is a blood rite. And that is supposed to bind the man to the woman through multiple lifetimes. I don't know. Better be sure that's the one you want to be with. There's also some psychological strings that can be attached too. Like the person can be, yeah. Children are more than a blood right. Children are more than a blood right. So, we have to, when the children involved, it's always going to make the situation a lot more difficult, because they like us and the other person mixed in one body to an extent. And that's an agreement of all agreements there, but it's not a blood oath. The parents can work together for the child, but sometimes the fact that the child and the affection for the child is also a reflection of the affection that you have for that person, will make it more and more difficult to sever the relationship. So, you have to go and review the relationship. What did you do? You know, what religious ceremonies did y'all attend together? How many weddings did y'all go? Count the number, because if you go to a certain amount of weddings with somebody, you're making a promise to them to marry them. I think it's 3 weddings. If you take a person, if you go to 3 weddings with the same person, that's like promising the marriage. So y'all basically observing other people to determine how y'all wedding gonna be. It's like window shopping. Yeah. Yeah, they got a lot of that, and then they tell everybody else you a deadbeat. They won't let you do what you supposed to do as a father. Yeah, well, we gonna fix all that, and that's part of the grievances that I was given to deal with when I realized what was going on. That was one of the grievances, is that there's a lot of guys that had been praying that God intervened, where these women use these children as poker chips and paychecks, and they don't really care about the children. So, in order to deal with that situation, I had to see it up close and personal, so I'll be able to be fair and just in the determination. So, yeah, you have to figure out a way of communication. Try another family member, like her mama or a sister or something, and let it be known that you just want to see your son, and you know, and write him letters, you know. And if you can't get the letter to him, get you a journal book and write to him as often as you feel like it, like you're communicating with him. You're creating a psychic channel where you still feeding him information even though you're not physically present. So the power of writing extends beyond just putting it on the paper. And that's why they say the pen is mightier than the sword, because you take mental and spiritual things and bring them from mind in spirit, and you put them into 3D by putting it on paper. You know. So communicate with your son through paper. And you know, you can mail him letters, or you could keep him a journal. You could write him a book where you pick him out quotes and you fill the book up with quotes for him while you thinking about him or whatever. But that writing builds that psychic link. So you want to build that psychic link to him. Where he always be able to draw from dad's energy and dad's wisdom in order to help guide him when he don't have the physical presence. Hey, Juanita. So, we was talking about, oh yeah, when they go to putting the police in, they ain't even playing regular games. Then they trying to get you hurt. They trying to get you hurt. So, there is something you can do though. You go, don't even deal with none of the people. Send them people to go deal with them. I wouldn't do it, but that's the other alternative that they use. They got groups out there that fight for the rights of fathers to be able to participate in their children's life. But that's why we gotta clean this mess up, because there's too many women having babies by deadbeats that want to let their father participate, and then there's too many deadbeat women that want the father to just pay the bills and don't want them around their kid, and they use the kid as a tool of punishment. You know, you can't use children to punish the other parent, because you can't make the other parent do what you want to do. That's not right. If you ain't looking out for the best interests of the child first, then you in the child's way. You stopping and stifling their growth. You got to look out for the best interests of the child first. You got to see your child as your passport into the future, further than you can take yourself. So let's say you live to be 150, but let's say your child live to be 155. That means that however old you was when you had that child, when they get past your age, when they get past the difference in the ages, now they going into how long you've been here, zooming straight into the future. They get to be 155 years. That might be 60 years further in the future than you could have made it on your own. It might be 100 years further into the future. 150, you might have had them when you was 20. You know, that means that they made it, you know, a lot further along into the future. That's you. That's your passport. They also your passport to the return, because the DNA goes out on a divergence, comes back in on a convergence, and moves to the singularity. But it always causes an insurgence when it do that. So, the DNA follows that path. Who, Mazel? Oh, you talking about if you go to court, they call you low down as hell? Then they go to court on you in a minute. Then you go to court, then you a rat. Or you enemy of the state. You know, stuff like that. So, review your personal path and make sure you don't have any soul contracts to sever. If you do, you need to sever them. And try to do them as amicably as possible. And, you know, I went over a few things earlier in the video that you might have missed about how to sever them, how you get into them and stuff like that. But I'm about to close this one out because I didn't really have a lot to talk about. I just wanted to tell people how they had to exit those contracts. And amicably is always the best way to enter a blood exit a blood blood contract, a blood right. You need to do it together so that nobody suffer a negative side effect and they continue their life, is, you know, and become more happy and prosperous along those lines. So I'm gonna wrap it up here, and I'm trying to stop doing Facebook videos. Um, this is just something to do while I'm waiting on these other brothers to do what they supposed to do, so I can continue this mission. And from there, I don't know. I'm waiting. I'll see what happens. So, keep your head up. Stay united. Stay strong. And keep looking to the future. We're going to make it there. And I'll talk to y'all later. Now that y'all see the formula and how it works, we can get to some schoolwork. We can get to some mystic educational shit here. All right, now, if y'all go to my page, if y'all scroll down my page, close this out. If you scroll down my page, you'll see I got posts today about, that ain't me, that's my news feed. It should be me. Now notice, I woke up, I don't know where the hell that picture came from, but I put it as my profile picture. Now, look at that symbol right here. See the scarab beetle? It was on my book of life. But if you really look at it too, it's also a winged heart. I'm just saying. Then you got the feather. And then you got the heart. So the feather of truth. And the heart is of love. Love and truth balance. Wisdom. So that came this morning when I woke up. I changed it. Or was it last? One of them, I changed it. So then I got on here doing my research today. I wanted to touch on this topic here, the Barack Obama situation. Now, y'all don't know who he is, so we finna get a couple of hits off. It's gonna be easy to get 22 hits off this. It's gonna be easy. Now, where'd the article go? You doing that? Play too much. All right. So you see how I say today's homework, 33 points of Obama's identity, right? 2 Thessalonians 2:3, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day will not come unless the falling away comes first, and that man of sin revealed, son of perdition. Now, there's a whole lot going on in that verse. I don't know who the son of perdition is, but we finna find out some shit about Barack Hussein Obama. So, one of the first things I want to tell y'all is how they tricked y'all into electing him in the office. Now, I'm going to tell y'all this. I'm going to give y'all a spoiler. I should have just let y'all roll along with me and get all pissed off and pissy because y'all love Barack Obama. It's going to sound like to y'all that I'm butchering this man for the first beginning of this. But when you get the why part, he had to be put in that place. Now, remember, under divide and conquer, you need a dog in every fight. Now, this is where we start with Obama. Right? Let me click on pictures. Here. This is where we start. Now, this is my other Facebook page for my mystic studies. From a black gorilla, what you should know about Obama's true identity. Real date of birth is 6/6/1966, and the ceremony is commemorated in the movie called Rosemary's Baby. I gotta prove that to y'all. His conception was portrayed in Demon Seed as a computer human byproduct. I gotta show y'all what they talking about. His remaining story was Damien, son of a jackal. I gotta show y'all what I'm talking about. The jackal is Anubis, ruler of the region where modern-day Kenya is located. His father was from Kenya. Obama's father was a king in Kenya. Why? Because all rulers have to be royal bloodlines, even in modern politics. All of this is known. None of this is a secret, nothing I just said. The only thing that you never related it to was Barack Obama. Now, I got to tell you what make me know all this, right? Now, first thing is to tell you how I know this. And let's go through a couple of things. Let's see where we at with this. The first thing, let me go here. Let me see what this does. I want you to see is this. Whenever you see the resurrection of Osiris as Horus, you will always see Anubis, the jackal. Make no mistake about it. You can't have one without the other. And I'm going to tell you why. Anubis is educated by Thoth. Heru, Horus, the resurrected son, the widow's son, is educated by Thoth. Right? They are brothers in the story. Right? They brothers. Now look behind them, you see the scarab. Now remember yesterday, the scarab came up on Obadiah's feed for me when I went through Jillian's post looking at things and I bumped into it. Then I ran here and found the winged scarab with the disc over his head just like that. But there was no two serpents on the disc. Clue. I might have to find two snakes in this. Now, understanding that you can't have the Redeemer unless you have the Destroyer. Because if one is stopped, the other one must be successful. Now, what it looked like in our 3D realm when both of them are present, each one of them take turns counseling, right? But that's just what it looked like. This is called 3 knocks. That's what that is. So you have the Destroyer give him a knock, the mortal man give him a knock, and then you have the Redeemer give him a knock. Because this time we reading right for left in English. Destroyer is the first one to wake him up. Destruction. That's when you first start your alchemical process. But we're not going to get into the metaphysics of it. We're going to get into the 3D enactment of it based off the reflection of the metaphysics and how it play out in our world. So, being the widow's son, the resurrected Osiris as his son Horus, there has to be somebody for Horus to use as a mirror. So he had the man, which was Tupac, right? Who was King Tut, which I can show y'all that on another time. And the other brother, which was Anubis. Now, there has to be some kind of simulation to Anubis in order for the Obama thing to even match. So the first thing I got to do is look at the first statement I made about Obama on the feed. So let's go back to the first thing I made. The birth certificate. Now, in order for me to be able to see who Barack Obama is, break from the motherfucking bondage and servitude. So this is how you do it. Their system is done. You have to already know that because it's already written that when we wake up, their system is done. So I'm woke than a motherfucker. See, when they asked me red pill or blue pill, I fucked around and took them both. Now I'm wide the fuck awake in the matrix. Right? So now, this infinite black that you see when you look into outer space, you have to remember, before there was your fucking love and light, there was your chaos and your black. The great Titan force that you cannot put it down, but it works with the system in the governance of divine providence. The great mother. They keep telling y'all that God is a man and you keep falling for this dumbass shit. This not possible because you are in a giant uterus. How do you know this? Black holes. The only place you can duplicate the universe is in the womb of the woman. The womb is a portal just like this universe. We are an expression of the mind of the great mother. That's why they always talk in this love and compassion, because the love brought forth the fucking light. And the light agitated the fucking chaos, talking about this fucking order shit. So the war ensues. But we put it in physical terms so that you can understand the spiritual expression of the black. The black gonna always win because it was always here. The light is just some mitochondrial firing. That's it. Of the love response generated by the reverence of self within the great womb of the great mother Tawaret. So that you understand, when you talking about black history, you talking about the history of the portal of life that is the uterus of the great mother who sits on the 13th seat of the zodiac, and the all-seeing eye is her winking her uterus at you. And he who can master himself beget the respect of all of the mothers, receive the power of the great mother to relegate this power on earth. So as above, so below, they say. Don't fall for the bullshit. They gave it to you upside down and then they turned it around.